What up is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads. As you see, right behind me is, well, not behind me, but behind this whole camera, we have the Dynasty Dads First League Startup Draft. This is Superflex. This is tight end premium 1.5 PPR, if you guys are wondering. I'm going to go through the first couple rounds here, anything crazy that happened or kind of the results, and you guys can give me some input, too, of what you think about the league so far. I have the number 10 position. I seem to always get 9 or 10 when it comes to startups. It just seems to always be that case. I never get a top pick because, man, it'd be nice to have Patrick Mahomes. But we're going to start off with the bat. Patrick Mahomes was selected 1. Number 2 was Christian McCaffrey. And 101 is easily Patrick Mahomes. In my case, I think I would have taken Allen and Murray 2 and 3, and then McCaffrey would have been my 4 here. But McCaffrey went 2, Allen and Murray went 3, 4. Pretty standard, what you probably would see ADP-wise. Then we get to Skull Canada, and he had some decisions to make. Of any running back, you can take Cook, you can take Kamara, you can take Barkley, you can take Taylor. There's all sorts of different running backs. It's a really hard spot to be at. If I have that spot, I am taking a Lamar or Dak Prescott. Still in that situation. He did not. He took Jonathan Taylor, which is fine. I mean, you can back it up with some quarterbacks later in the draft, but Jonathan Taylor is that stud running back. So if you're going to take him, if you're going to take a running back, that's not a bad pick at 102. Then we get a little bit crazy. Najee Harris at the 3rd running back taken. It's not what I would do. I mean, he's a 23-year-old running back still, Najee Harris. So if I'm going to take somebody, I'm going to take somebody Antonio Gibson, who's even younger. I would take even a Clyde Edwards-Helaire over like a Najee Harris, probably long-term wise, but it is what it is. He took Najee Harris. That's probably the craziest pick so far. And I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, is it that crazy? It's not super crazy. All right. We have Trevor Lawrence. This is another interesting pick by Mahomes boy. Trevor Lawrence could be a really good pick here. I would still rather have the Herbert, Jackson, Prescott trio over Lawrence. In fact, I thought that if Prescott was gone, if Prescott and Lamar was gone, I thought if everything shifted up, let's just say Najee wasn't taken and it went Herbert, Jackson, Prescott, that I was going to go between a situation where I was going to have to take Lawrence or I was going to have to take a stud running back. So you can see it went Lawrence, Herbert, Lamar, and then I had the decision. In the beginning of the drafts, any startup drafts, you want to have flexibility. And I feel like if you put yourself in a corner, and not saying that that's a bad idea, sometimes it ends up working out. Like High Roller right next to me, I mean, you got Cook and Kamara, which is amazing. But you put yourself in a corner of like, I don't have a quarterback, I don't have a tight end and tight end premium. You really put yourself in a situation where you have to not even select best available. You have to start taking players. You have to start taking positional players. And that's where it starts getting a little tough here. So I took Dak Prescott here because I wanted a stud quarterback. 28 years old. Russell Wilson a little bit older. I think they both have about the same. I think that's Dak Prescott maybe a little bit higher ceiling. Right here, he's the last of the, I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say 6. There's 6 quarterbacks in that tier. So it's Mahomes, Allen, Murray, Herbert, Jackson, and Prescott. There's kind of like that. And they're in 2 separate tiers. But Herbert, Jackson, and Prescott in that second tier. And Lawrence is kind of that wild card, that number 7 in my mind. So he was after Prescott. So then I also was like, okay, if I don't take Prescott, there is one of 3 running backs that I am okay with. And you could even say 4, but Cook, Kamara, Barkley, I was okay with one of those 3. I would have loved to have one of those 3. Worst case scenario, I probably end up getting Gibson. Like, I'm okay with that as well. And it went Cook, Wilson, Metcalf, and Kamara. So if Lord Enzo would have ended up taking like a Barkley, then I would have been stuck with Gibson, which is an okay consolation prize. But I had to take Barkley here. He is one of my. I would rather have Barkley than Harris, and it's right up there with Jonathan Taylor. And you're looking at a mid first round pick to late first round pick being picked at 203. And no trades happened yet. I actually had the first trade, which we'll probably go through. Gibson, I love that pick. Jefferson, Chubb, Henry, again, kind of pretty standard, nothing crazy so far. Devontae, Brown, Hill, all starting to get through some of these wide receivers that are really good here. Travis Kelce, not my first tight end. to be chosen, but I can see that this is a win now team. The Wood, looking like if you look at the first 2 picks, and then you'll see the first 3 picks here. Diggs going around that corner is a win now team, and so teams are doing different things in start. Some want to win now, and some want to kind of save it for later. So I'll give you a kind of a hint here soon about what I was thinking. But Kelsey, I mean, I would rather have Kittle, Pitts, and Hawkinson over Kelsey in Dynasty. So Kelsey is not my number 1 tight end. But that is what it is. That's my opinion, and that's whatever. So Trey Lance, a really good pick there. I like that pick. But I would rather have Joe Burrow. And it's just that's the thing. It's like I would rather have Burrow, and I would probably rather have Fields too. If I had Mahomes, I would have probably risked it, and I would have probably taken. You took Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I would have probably taken, in his situation, a top tight end here. I would have taken the Kittle, Pitts, Hawkinson group, and I would have probably taken Kittle to go with Mahomes and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I would have been just happy as all can be, because then I would have started looking at a second quarterback maybe a little bit later. But anyways, so Diggs here, Diggs an awesome wide receiver, and then we hit a tight end run here. And so when I'm saying I was trying to reach into a couple of these players, I was trying to reach in and try to get a trade. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but the 2 players I was really targeting to move up for was Kyle Pitts, because I love Kyle Pitts. I think he's awesome, especially in tight end premium. And I was trying to go up for CeeDee Lamb. 2 players that I thought were really good, not tier breaks, but really good young players to go with, even Dak Prescott and Saquon Barkley. But it did not work that way, and that's all right, because I didn't think it was going to. Kittle, Pitts, Waller, all 3 right in a line. And so at that point, I was sitting there going, okay, I don't think I'm going to get a top 6 tight end, a top 5 tight end. I was pretty dead on set that I was like, okay, I'm not getting Hawkinson, I'm not getting Andrews, I'm just going to be kind of screwed. But I was like, the players I was okay with at this point, right here, Ridley, I was okay. I was like, okay, Ridley goes, I'm okay with Lamb, Burrow, Hawkinson. I guess Andrews would be the potential spot, or even Fields. So I was kind of like, okay, there's somebody that I'm going to end up liking that drops down to me. So Ridley goes, Lamb goes. If you look at this roster, I mean, you said, yeah, maybe Lawrence is a little bit of a risk, and you can see that he went Chase afterwards. But Lawrence, Lamb, I mean, he is all super high upside. Really interested by the Chubb pick here. Chubb kind of fits his roster, but I'm just a little surprised he didn't go like CEH or even like Chubb's kind of a good pick. It's a good pick there just because that's the best running back available, but I am surprised just with his kind of young team that he didn't go crazy upside, but he does have some stability with Chubb there. Austin Eckler, a really good pick here in the 3rd round. Joe Burrow, just heartbreaking. I was like, man, if I can get Prescott, Joe Burrow would have been up around here probably for me. And if I could have got Prescott, Barkley, and Burrow, I would have been happy as can be, and then I would have hoped for a tight end, either Hawkinson, Andrews. I would have taken a running back here. I would have been okay with 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs here, and then I would have just scrapped together some tight ends and wide receivers. But that did not happen. So Joe Burrow went right before me, and I sat here, so we're doing a delayed draft, and so we're doing it every 2 hours we have a pick, or every hour we have a pick. And my concern was right here, Zeke and Swift are very close in my mind. I was torn between them. I understand Swift's a little hurt right now. And so I chose, because these guys didn't have tight ends, I chose to take what I considered a tight end that was in my top 3. Like I said, Kittle, Pitts, Hawkinson, what is he, 24? Show player card. I'm pretty sure he's 24. He's 24 years young. I was like, yeah, I'm going to take Hawkinson right there. And so I took Hawkinson. Fields went right after, which I was going to there's always the couple players that you're like, oh, who should I take? Who should I take? And so I was kind of okay with Fields, Zeke, or Swift coming around, and Fields and Zeke went right after, and I was like, oh, Swift's going to get taken. But Montgomery and Hopkins, again, a steal at 4-2. There were some definitely good values that dropped here. But then I took Swift. I was like, okay, I got 2 running backs. I'm pretty good at running back. I got my tight end. I really need a second quarterback. I need a wide receiver. Those are my 2 big needs right now. And so, let's say we're at 9 minutes video, so we're going to do 15 minutes of this video. So Mixon, Andrews, again, I thought that was a really good value there. Jamar Chase, he's going for all upside. Fant here. This is where I think the tight ends would in my mind, really drop off because Fant is the only one that is kind of in that top 7, and then it's the rest. So we got Rodgers. A little early for Rodgers, in my opinion. I would have rather had, especially with his Jonathan Taylor, but he got Devontae. He wants a stack. He's got a little bit older team considering, so it's not a bad pick through there. Then we have Aaron Jones, a good pick here. Javonte, which I've seen go in the 5th round, and I was. If I was a running back need team like that, it was a really good pick through there. Ryan Tannehill, a good pick. Terry McLaurin, good value. Trey Sermon, a lot early in my mind, just not because of it's just because of Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs. There's just like those 2 guys I would rather have over Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon's a big risk, and I know what I'm getting from these 2 guys. That's just my opinion. So these 2 picks were a little bit better in my opinion. But again, that's my opinion, and it can change. I mean, they could be right and I could be wrong. So DJ Moore, really good value in the 5th round. Again, Allen Robinson. And so I was about here, and I was like, crap. Well, I was about here, Josh Jacobs. And I was like, there are 3 wide receivers that are in a good tiered break for me. And there's been no trades yet to this point. And then all of a sudden, DJ Moore goes, Allen Robinson goes, and I'm like, oh, crap. I'm not going to get a wide receiver. And as you saw my team, it was Prescott, Barkley, Hawkinson, Swift. And I was like, I need a wide receiver. I need a top wide receiver. So after I tried trading into, I believe, this spot, and it didn't work. And finally, the first trade of the day, round 5, I took Godwin. I took Chris Godwin. And I'll tell you, let's see, who else was there? So Judy, Cooper, Devontae, Keenan Allen, those were players that were, again, good players. But when we're talking about I believe, nope, it won't, I can't see it. He's like a 25, 26-year-old wide receiver. You're talking about a stud, a guy that could be a top 5 wide receiver. If Antonio Brown goes away or if Chris Godwin goes to a new team, you're talking about a guy that still is a complete stud. Chris Godwin is the guy that I really, really wanted, and I paid a little bit for it. I don't remember the exact trade, but I did pay some for it. And then we had James Robinson, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, and Mike Gesicki. Zach Wilson, a really, really good pick there. Let me see if I had. Nope, I did not have that pick coming around the corner there. My kind of thing, my thought process, Zach Wilson ADP was a little bit lower than that. My thought was maybe I could get a Zach Wilson on the next round. You always have to have thoughts, and I thought, man, if I could have 2 running backs, Dak and Zach Wilson, who I feel like is going to start, and then I have TJ Hawkinson, so like Smith, Barkley, Godwin, I'd be like, man, my roster is doing wonderful in Superflex tight end premium. And then immediately Zach Wilson goes, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't have gotten him anyways because I would have been right here where Mac Jones would have been taken, so it would have been fine. But again, that was just a steal. And then we did all this in one day, which was surprising. We got 2 minutes. Let's go through another round here. So, of course, I got traded way back here. And so Gesicki, Keenan Allen, Chris Carson, Travis Etienne. These are the good wide receivers here in this round. I mean, you're talking about stud wide receivers, and I really liked it. And so I was debating between Watson, Tua, and Baker. Watson, Tua, and Baker. Watson, Tua, and Baker. And I kept thinking about it, and I was like, Watson just has, if he plays, which is a big if, the NFL is full of second chances. Unless he's in prison, I believe he's going to play at some point. And I don't respect what Watson has done. But in a dynasty football format, this is what you have to do. You have to take some chances. And I think Watson, even if he doesn't play this year, we're talking about a guy who is a top 5 quarterback consistently, and there is nothing like that you can get in this type of round. So I took Watson begrudgingly, and then Tua, then Brandon Ayuk, Higgins, Claypool. At this point, I'm like, crap, my wide receiver 2 is not going to be as good. But I am on the clock, I believe, coming up here, and I'm actually on the clock right now. And I'm not going to post this video quite yet, but my Julio Jones is still out there, and you will see if Julio Jones makes it on my team. If Julio doesn't, it's probably going to be Odell Beckham Jr., and that's the pick I'm choosing between in the 10th round, which is ridiculous, but not ridiculous, but it's kind of crazy how that works. All right, so Marcus Dynasty Football Dads, I hope you enjoyed the first, was it 6 rounds, and we're doing 30 rounds. So it's going to go a little bit quicker maybe the next ones, but I just want to give you kind of an update on the league. All right, well, it's Marcus Dynasty Football Dads.
Now turn up.